Well, hello, and welcome back to the Chamber Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Foster Garrett, Director of Marketing and Events for the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Let me just give you a rundown of what's going on. So, every week I interview a different chamber member to find out what they do and why they do it. Right here, recorded in beautiful Bedford, Virginia, broadcasting on Grove Street FM, and brought to you by Media Squatch. But before we get to the actual podcast, I do have to tell you about one of our upcoming chamber events. We stay really busy. We're in a bit of a dead period and we're about to revive it next week. On April 25th at 11 a.m., we're going to be having a ribbon cutting palooza. It'll be a really fun celebratory event. And we're hosting this with the Central Virginia Business Coalition and the town of Bedford to kick off National Small Business Week, which is the next week from April 28th to May 4th. And we always try to make a really big deal about this because who would we be without our small businesses? I mean, seriously. There are so many great small businesses in the Bedford area, and we kind of want to draw attention to them, just give them a little bit more exposure, especially those without a storefront or a brick and mortar, because if you don't know about them, you probably just don't know. So we're going to have a rapid fire ribbon cutting ceremony with some of our small business members and some of the CVABC small business members. So that'll be kicking off at 11 a.m. And CG Stanley with the town will be doing a proclamation ceremony to declare the next week National Small Business Week in Bedford. So it'll be a really fun event. And further incentive to come, we will be giving a coupon to all attendees for 10% off your bill to 6 participating local restaurants. You can keep an eye out on social media for more information about who all will be a part of this lovely event. But again, it's free and open to the public. It'll be at the chamber office. We're located at 305 East Main Street, right next to the municipal building, so very easy to find us. And we'll be hanging out outside, cutting a lot of ribbons, doing a lot of celebration. There'll be confetti, there'll be big scissors, all the good stuff. And it'll just be a really nice time. And I really encourage everybody to come out, just support everybody, do some networking, and then go enjoy lunch in town somewhere. But once again, April 25th, that's next Thursday. So put it on your calendar. I hope to see you there. But you can find all of our events on our full calendar on bedfordareachamber.com. And I'll drop our phone number and all that good stuff at the very end, so listen all the way through on how you can get in contact with us for more information. But without further ado, please allow me to introduce today's guests, Bill Mosley and Wendy Rowden with Bedford Get Together. Welcome.
Good
Hello,
morning.
Foster. Thanks.
Thank you for joining me. So before we kind of get into the question and answer, I would love if you guys could just talk a little bit about your backgrounds, and then we'll kind of get into the history, the formation of Bedford Get Together, and what you guys are all about.
Okay. I grew up on the West Coast. Moved it around a bit because my dad was in the military, and I moved to Bedford about 25 years ago with my husband and my son, and we have lived here happily ever since. My son has one of those kids that grew up and moved away, unfortunately. But I really love this little town because moving around, with the military was not my favorite thing to do, and I like staying in one place. And so it's been great to be here and get to know people really well instead of just kind of, for a while and then let them go. So appreciate that.
And I grew up in Atlanta, and moved here in 1990, so 34 years ago, with my wife and 3 kids. My wife Elizabeth, I'm sorry to say, has passed some years back, and I've remarried. But we run 2 businesses here, or have run 2 businesses. The first one being Bedford Hardware, which we ran from 2000 to 2015. Which was a wonderful experience, and got to know lots and lots of folks in town. And the other one, where my real heart and soul is Proprietors Group of Bedford, and we basically renovate some of the beautiful old buildings, historic buildings in Bedford, residential and commercial. And my son John has joined me in that enterprise now, and so we're going great guns with that business.
I think it's so cool to hear, like, people's backgrounds, especially people that aren't from Bedford, because I think a lot of us that are from Bedford, we like to harp on it a little bit. But it's cool to see how people ended up here because we all had our own journeys that led us here. And now I feel like every person that I bring on this podcast, you feel strongly about your community. And like for you, like moving around, like this is probably one of the best places you could have landed because when I was one of those kids that I thought I was going to move away and not come back. And I went to Richmond for 6 months out of college and realized I was not a city girl because people wouldn't smile at me on the street and I couldn't just talk to strangers. And that's like such a weird thing, I think, for like a young person to say because a lot of us are very introverted and I am shy, but I like the option, you know, like I feel a part of something here and coming back, it's really nice to have that like open-armed welcome no matter where I go really and no matter who it is. Like you wouldn't believe some of the conversations I have with people.
That's wonderful, Foster. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I grew up in the big city and came here, and in Atlanta, of course, Sherman and others burned down much of the city of the old buildings. And when I came to Bedford, I just thought I'd died and gone to heaven because I love restoring historic buildings, and I was surrounded by them, and a chance to do things that I could have never done there. So it's and the idea of a small town life is just wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
It is. So let's kind of get into Bedford Get Together. Tell me a little bit about, why it was formed and what your mission is.
All right, I'm going to leave that up to you, Bill. You got a longer memory.
Well, I'll start out with the vision of Bedford Get Together is a community united through mutual understanding, trust, kindness, and respect. And the reason that we got together, and it was a large group of us, probably 30 or more folks, came together because in 2017 we began to realize that there was a great amount of division in the community that unfortunately continues, politically primarily. And we felt like there's got to be a way to bring people together. And so we started out by doing a big event that we held at Edmund Street Park and Susie Gibson High School athletic field with about 60 or 70 different organizations of all kinds, mostly nonprofits, everything from healthcare to YMCA to help me, Wendy. There were
Central Virginia Council on Independent Living and
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, just a lot of nonprofits, but we also had demonstrations and
we had yoga practitioners and healthcare, healthy food options, and introduced a lot of folks to the community that they may not have been aware of at that point. And I think we also introduced a lot of people to that neighborhood, who had perhaps never really been in that community. And that was one of the reasons we held it there. We did a second event the following year, similarly well attended. And then COVID arrived, and that kind of put a damper on us. And so we, at some point soon after that, this large group kind of fell by the wayside. But in the meantime, we did establish ourselves as a 501c3 nonprofit, non-political enterprise, and we have a board of directors of now 8 members, and we have pursued a number of smaller events and strategies since that time, and continue and are now stronger than ever in many ways. And now, more than a large group that tries to put on one big event, we concentrate on smaller projects that then we recruit other folks from the community to join us on. And we find that seems to be working as a good model for us.
Yeah.
One of the things we did a few years ago was we sponsored a forum, I guess you call it a forum, for the sheriff's candidates. When there was like 4 or 5 sheriff's candidates, we had them all come and talk to the community. I think it was during Centerfest.
Oh, wow.
Well attended, So we try and our goal is to kind of introduce people to other people in Bedford, because sometimes there can be some cliquishness among some groups, and so introducing some like older people to younger people and that sort of thing. And it's really neat to see, for example, Edmund Street Park. many people that attended that had never been to the park before.
Mhm.
And some said they didn't even know it was there. So, and Bedford's a small town. How do you hide a park that big?
Seriously.
So,
I mean, I think it's so interesting. I think it's needed genuinely because it's not only just about the divisiveness, it's about people just staying in their lane and never leaving that
mhm,
space and just doing what you always do. And like Susie G. Gibson, we love that place. We work with them frequently at the chamber. But when I was going through school and it was called BSTC, I didn't know that much about it. I had never been there before. And it just was never presented as like a wholesome option for like somebody that was an advanced student, you know? And
mhm.
so that's something we try to do at the chamber too, is like provide everybody all their options
Mm-hmm.
and show people like just all the different opportunities available to you in Bedford. And something this year I've noticed a lot with people, because we host a lot of events,
Yes.
like a lot, and the attendance, it wavers. It just depends on what it is, but there's so many people reaching out to us saying, "Hey, I like either I was really out and about pre-COVID and I want to get back out there now and I think it's the right time, or COVID showed me that I need human connection, that I need to go talk to like more people than what I normally do on a daily basis, and I don't know how to get started. What is a good way for me to do that?" And so people are looking. They're looking for ways to get involved. They're looking for ways to connect with other people and learn new things. And so being an organization that provides that, it's so needed. And so I hope people listening to this hear this stuff and they want to learn more.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
We hope so too.
one of the ways they can learn about Bedford is listening to this podcast and the other local podcasts, because I've started listening to them quite a lot and learned a bunch of things and about a bunch of businesses I never knew about.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's a great way to learn something, and eventually something will catch your ear that you're attracted to, that you can go volunteer at, if that's in fact what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think what you're talking about that the chamber's doing and that we're trying to do is kind of increase awareness
Mm-hmm.
of things about Bedford and in some cases about our history. Our mural, for example, that we're trying to get done is all about awareness. It's reminding people of things that maybe they kind of lose sight of.
Yeah. So tell me more about the mural. I know this has been a
was a
really
segue.
big, this has been like a really big project for a while.
It has been. It's been ongoing for about over a year now.
Yeah.
From its inception. Um, the impetus for it came actually at the Bridge Street Coffee House, where I was approached by a 90-something-year-old Marine known by many around town, Dan Valerial, who's a regular volunteer out at the D-Day Memorial. And Dan approached me and said, "So who do I talk to in town about painting a mural? Who's in charge of murals in town?" And I informed Dan that there was not a mural department. We're not Houston or Atlanta. We do not have a mural department. I said, you got to talk to the building owners and you got to talk to the town about, any regulations. But basically, you can do what you want with it if you can get permission. So one thing led to another, and he told me what he had in mind, and it was basically a mural that would pay tribute to the Bedford boys and the D-Day. All the soldiers that served in the Normandy invasion. But as I sat there in Bridge Street Coffee House, it crossed my mind that maybe this mural could be more than that. That maybe everybody knows, I think, pretty much by now about the Bedford boys, and especially the folks in town. But maybe people don't realize how many other members of the community have served. And of course, the Bedford boys at that point in time, the military was very much segregated, and so those guys were all white. Well, once you come around to the Vietnam War and even Korea, that was no longer the case. The military was very much integrated, and Bedford actually lost a number of its black citizens, all men. In the Vietnam War. They weren't the only ones, of course. I think there were a dozen altogether, but there were maybe 4 or 5 of that group that were black from Bedford. So it became clear to me that maybe that's what this mural could do, is remind folks that we're been served by men and women of all colors in this, who serve from this community, and that maybe that's who we should pay tribute to. Um, so I brought it to the Bedford Get Together board, and the board liked the idea of taking up this mural, and we went from there. I will read you one thing that I thought was very well written about it, just to maybe capsulize the mural. Um, Bedford Get Together is proud to sponsor a mural on the north-facing wall of the Radford and Wandry PC building overlooking Centertown Park. So it's very visible to the entire community as you enter town. The subject of the mural has evolved from an initial inspiration based on a Normandy Beach image to an effort to recognize the contributions of those largely overlooked by history: African Americans, women, those who serve our country in other ways. We want to recognize the intricate connections among the people of Bedford through war, service, and devotion to community and country over time. This mural is an intimate expression of appreciation embedded in this place, this community. The mural will define the park space, recognizing shared service and sacrifice, and reflecting the best of Bedford. And I think that capsulizes it pretty well, what we have in mind.
It definitely does. That, hearing you read that, I've read it, but I've not heard it read aloud.
Me either.
And
it was cool.
It's it's very impactful, like what you guys are trying to do. And I think that you're right, it encapsulates it.
Thank you. I didn't write it.
I mean,
I have to give credit to
you read it well. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So if you want to help, we're accepting donations at the moment. Actually, the call for artists is out, and
Okay.
it opened yesterday. So the artists now have access to all the materials that they need to submit their proposal, and we will stop taking those on June 1st. So you've got about 45 days to get those in. And then donations we will take anytime on our website at bedfordgettogether.com. I think there's trails to get to the page where you donate, or you can mail it to us at a check to us at P.O. Box 1184, Bedford.
Nice.
We appreciate it.
We have raised a fair amount of money so far toward it. We've got a grant application in that we're very hopeful. It's very well written to AARP.
Nice.
But unfortunately, we won't know about that until we've actually probably chosen an artist to do it. So we have a lot of money that we still need to raise. There are various giving levels, as in many fundraising operations. So we're particularly looking for corporate sponsors. So any of you chamber members out there, we're looking to promote your business to the extent that we can, give you recognition. If you're interested in this project, please get in touch with us.
And for the corporate sponsorship, if you don't know the answer, if you can't remember, that's totally fine. But do you remember what's included with it? Is there like a plaque that your name goes on at the mural?
There will be, for donations over $1,000.
Gotcha.
You will be recognized.
It's 1,000 and up.
Yes. On a bronze plaque that will be placed there at the mural. At the $500 level, there's recognition and a special party recognizing those particular donors. And of course, on all of the publicity that we put out, we'll recognize our donors. But we're also glad to have $5-10 donations. We were at Centertown and set up actually right underneath the mural site, and didn't get a whole lot of people coming through there. For some reason, people don't come into the park at Centertown.
Yeah.
As we found out. But of those that did, virtually everybody who came to our little table setup gave us a donation, even as small as a quarter, and also a couple of $20 donations. So we were thrilled we got 100% participation from those who came by to talk to us.
I mean, seriously, every little bit counts.
Yes, absolutely.
So going back to the artist, is there anything in particular that you're looking for an artist to do this mural?
Experience. We're definitely looking for experienced artists who got a track record. Understanding our theme, understanding what we have in mind is the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah.
Julie Stanley has put together. We're going to have. I should mention we're going to have a judges panel
Okay.
that will, as best as we can, represent the entire community, both business and private sector, um, um, government, young, old, black, white, um, as many different kinds of folks as we can to make the final selection of who the artist is going to be. Um, so we'll be doing that after the 1st of June. And as far as other artistic or experience, that's the main thing. Now there is some, they will have to have some understanding of logistics because it is a second story building, so they have to be comfortable working on scaffolding or a lift. They have to figure out how they're going to get up there to do it. But we'll be glad to work with them on all of those aspects as needed.
Well, it'll be exciting for sure once it starts to get
Absolutely
underway. I can't wait to drive past it every day.
And we're hopeful that this is going to lead to a number of other murals in town. We've identified other sites. We're not in the mural business, so we're probably not going to be doing those murals. But we'll be glad to work with anybody else in town, any other business that wants to do a mural, any other organization that wants to sponsor murals. We've got some other themes in mind that we think would be wonderful for Bedford, and it would be lovely for this to be a town of murals that people want to come and see.
I think that y'all's mural project really opened up everybody's eyes to like just all the spaces that could be, painted and made beautiful. Right. And I know that when I drive around town now, I'm like, oh God, that's so ugly. Mural, please. So I'm like,
that's what we want.
Yeah, like I'm invested. And like, we don't have Second Fridays in town anymore. We don't have the Artisan Trail anymore. We need to do something to make it more creative and just aesthetic and beautiful, because Bedford is beautiful, but it's never a bad thing to add a pop of color. Like, seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Downtown definitely could use some color right now.
Yes.
And we're hopeful Amanda Morgan of Terrace Blooms, she wants to do a mural on the side of a building. It happens to be one of our buildings.
Oh, really?
And so we're all in favor of that. We're also hoping that she's going to join us on this selection panel as the artist in residence.
Hint,
since she knows about murals.
I was about to say, no pressure.
No.
Her building is very
beautiful. You didn't hear that, Amanda.
Well, I know you guys have some other things that have been ongoing for a while. Can you talk a little bit about our Bedford story?
Oh, yeah. That's a big project that we have been, it's an ongoing project. We started it in 2017 at our first event and started collecting some stories verbally, orally, I should say. And then we had a bit where we brought in some help. A lady was working on her PhD, and she helped us with some of the, setup of how to get people's stories. And we did it in a group setting, which turned out to be pretty good. But one thing we changed, we were originally getting people to write their story, and we found out that was kind of difficult. A lot of people can't write that fast, or it's hard for them to put their words in writing. So we're now kind of more focused on oral stories again. And we're going around to groups or individuals and just getting their stories. And by stories, I mean just anything, hopefully somewhat tangentially related to Bedford. It is called Our Bedford Story, but it could be about anything. And so we've had just, short little vignettes, I guess you could call them, that we're publishing in the newspaper about once a month. In fact, I need to go by and pick up the paper today because I think we have one coming out today. And we started just once a month to see how it would work out. So we might bump that up a little bit as we work through our cache of stories. We have 80 some.
Oh, wow.
Probably closer to 100 now because we've been collecting them. But we are trying to find groups that would like to tell us stories. We would love to get the chamber people together to tell us some stories, especially people that are longtime Bedford residents. We have the groups that we've been to. Some of them were just amazing, but what we learned is that we have a lot of people in Bedford that didn't start out here.
Yeah.
And they have certain stories about coming to Bedford and how they were received in Bedford and how they feel about Bedford. And then we have the locals, the ones who have been here for 80 generations, and they have their perspective of Bedford. And sometimes it's similar, sometimes it isn't. And it's pretty interesting to compare those. But the idea is that we start talking to each other. Again, I alluded to earlier about the different groups in Bedford. A lot of times one group knows nothing about the other, or you're in a group with a person, but you don't really know anything about them personally. And then they tell the story about their childhood or something, and then you relate to that in some way. And then you might make a new friend that way, or a closer friend, or find a new group that you want to hang out with. So just talking to each other, because you talked earlier about people wanted to stay in their lanes.
Yes.
After COVID. And this is kind of part of bringing that out. It didn't start that way, but I think it could help with that, is trying to get people talking to each other again. Because I don't know if COVID just kind of scared people or what, but people are kind of like ants and they've crawled into their little houses.
I'm guilty of it too. It's easy to do. It's very easy to do. And people, I think people always assume that I really enjoy talking to people, but I haven't, and I do, but I haven't always been like this. You have to be very intentional about doing it, about seeing the good in people and wanting to talk to them.
Exactly.
And it's not something that comes naturally to most people.
Right.
But it's essential to living well and living with others.
Storytelling probably comes natural to people if they're comfortable, because storytelling has a really long tradition, and it's really good for your brain and all kind of, there's all kind of science behind it that we heard when we were working with this PhD student, who is still working with us, by the way. She got her PhD and she's still working with us. It's very great, because she has a lot of knowledge about.
Is she an anthropology student, or
her degree, I believe, is in community relations or something?
Oh, that's cool. That's
cool. More related to sociology, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so Bedford has made it to Chicago, because that's where her
that's where she lives, actually.
What?
Yeah, so her parents live on Peak Street. And so she's back here very regularly. They're wonderful folks. But Bedford is now famous in Chicago.
That is really cool. That is
we
really,
are the
really
subject of her dissertation.
Yeah, it was. The town was the subject of her dissertation. So, but the storytelling process is amazing. I mean, I've sat with some people that I just keep going back to them. It's different groups that we just keep going back and getting more and more stories, because there's stories everywhere. But people go, well, that's not interesting. Well, it is to somebody else. It might not be to you, because you've lived with it all your life. But so it doesn't necessarily have to be an entertaining story, but just something, that somebody might relate to. And we've got some pretty interesting stuff that we'll be sharing. We're actually looking for ideas about other ways to share them besides the newspaper. They're going on our website as they are printed in the newspaper. We're printing them on our website. So we've got like 3 or 4 stories up there now. And we're looking for other ways that we can share them. So we're looking for maybe business owners that would like to display them in their businesses, particularly restaurants, so people can go in and see their story and their picture on the wall in the restaurant.
That is really cool.
Wouldn't that be cool? And then you could have, I don't know, it's just like,
there's so many
have a contest, go and find 10 people.
Scavenger hunt.
Yeah, scavenger hunt. Exactly.
That'd be really cool. So do you guys have them only in print, but also in audio as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now we're not doing the written anymore. What we do is we get the audio and we have an AI transcribe it, and then we edit it, because AI has to be edited. And then we take it back to the person that told the story and say, hey, is there anything you want to update about this change? Awesome. Because sometimes what comes out of your mouth isn't necessarily what you wanted to share. So they have an opportunity to make it, acceptable to them, and then we'll use it in the newspaper or whatever. And we have all kinds of a form that they sign to give us permission to do that and to use it in other ways as well. So I'm getting kind of excited about how we can display these, but I need other ideas about where people would like to see the stories, where they would like to interact with them, where they would see them, and it would make them want to do it themselves, tell the story themselves.
One of the places that we've talked about and are working on is there's a kiosk in the park. In Centertown Park, that we thought, well, that would be a great place that we could post 3 or 4 stories and leave them up for a month or 2 months at a time, and then swap them out. Unfortunately, the kiosk is kind of a mess right now, and we're hoping that's one of the projects we may undertake. We've talked with the town about maybe we become involved in maintaining that kiosk because it could use some help, and that kind of ties into the mural. We'd like for that park to become a little bit more of a
place
comfortable gathering place
Yeah.
for folks. Right now, it's a little cold and off-putting. So we're hoping maybe this will lead into some park work as well.
I think it's definitely leading into park work. I've never gone to the Centertown Park just for funsies before. I mean, seriously, but it is a cute little place. I would like to see it become something, especially now that we are having like the pita place where you don't eat and you go somewhere else. Like it'd be nice to like have that as like a spot.
Yes.
Right.
But I want to encourage you guys to consider not just written format as a way to display, but also audio or video. And we can talk more after this because I mean, that's kind of my job is like I like to give people ideas and connections and stuff. So
that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit afterwards because
Wonderful.
I think it could be. I think there's a lot of opportunity with what you guys are doing, especially with how many you have. Like that's a lot that you can use, and I'm not sure if you can display 100 stories in restaurants just in Bedford, but let's talk.
We've actually talked about Woody getting involved and folks being able to feel like they're really telling it on to a radio audience here.
That
So
could be cool too.
That would be fun.
Something we can maybe talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will mention, just to add one more thing, when part of the PhD student Andrea had in mind was not just going to individuals to get them done, but going to groups and have that group have 3 or 4 folks from that particular business or nonprofit, whatever it might be, tell their stories. And that's kind of how we got it going with her. But for your audience, I will say any businesses here that have some employees, some owners, whatever, who would like to get several of their folks together, we'd love to work with you on collecting some stories.
I think that could be awesome. And I'll tell you businesses why. Because you guys are always looking for creative ways to build your team and get to know everybody and make your team stronger. This is an amazing way to do that. And you can share as much or as little as you'd like. And I'm already thinking of a few people that I'm going to encourage to do this next time I see them because I just know that they would love it. Like, and Woody is familiar with when I had my dad on this podcast. You guys need to force him to tell you stories. It won't take much. It won't. It will not take much. It won't because he loves to talk and he knows so many like I said something to my mom the other day, just like this random like fact, and it was about the color Alice blue. It's Teddy Roosevelt's daughter Alice. She wore it to a soiree. Now it's Alice blue, and she just looked at me and she's like, "You're just like your father," because we have useless facts. We have so much useless information, but it's interesting useless information.
It is.
So there are a lot of people you got to get in front of them, but businesses, employers, managers, consider this.
The hardest thing for us has been getting people to tie them down to let's do it, and let's do it this time, and let's just do it.
You just got to pick a date with them right there. Like seriously.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just the way people are. So
yeah, it is.
Sure, but I'm very excited about this project, and it is an ongoing project. We are going to be doing it for into the foreseeable future. So it's whenever, if people can't do it till fall, that's fine.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, one last thing. I know you guys have your community services community service awards open.
Yes.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And we are accepting nominations. We've been doing this also since 2018, I believe.
Gotcha.
Modeled, I must say, on the Chamber's awards that they give out, but ours are a little more oriented not toward business success or business achievement as community service. All of the awards are community service related. There's 4 categories: nonprofit organizations, um, for-profit businesses, individuals,
Mm.
and we had a category for government, but realized it was kind of limited, and to some extent, people who work in government, they may be contributing tremendously to the community, but they're also being paid to do it.
Yes.
And it's a little bit harder to find entities in that category. So we just decided that we wanted to add a different category, and that was for more of a lifetime achievement, not just achievements that have been made in the past year. Generally, they're for the previous year achievement. And so we've been giving these awards for, like I say, 5 or 6 years now. We welcome the nominations. BedfordGetTogether.com is our website. Those nominations can be made there. There's a particular link for those, or contact any of us, and we'll be glad to give you a form to fill out to submit your recommendations.
Yes, and we have until, I believe, July 15th
Nice.
to get those in, right?
Right. And the
Mhm.
awards will be announced soon after that, and we usually at one of the local restaurants or coffee houses we'll have a celebration for all of the winners of those awards
Very nice.
and their family members or associates.
Yeah, they get four invites
Oh,
in
awesome.
addition to themselves. So
So we're looking for folks who have made extraordinary contributions to the community, selfless contributions that in ways bring the community together, advance Bedford. So that's the drift of it.
Yeah. So, okay, I have a couple questions because we have awards. A lot of people have awards, but they're all slightly different. And I think it's really cool that you guys based it off the Chamber Awards because they've been around for so long. When
Yes.
I started this job a little over a year ago, and every single thing that every single event, I have to learn about it from the root because that's just who I am. But also, I want to make it as impactful as possible, so I need to know the history of it.
Mhm.
I cannot find when our awards started up. I have no idea because we've been around this is our 85th anniversary this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's just from our incorporation date in because I know the history of the chamber. In 1925, we changed our name from the Bedford Board of Trade to the Bedford Chamber of Commerce. And we weren't incorporated till 1939, so almost 14 years later. We didn't have a spot to stay until 1973, which is how we got our office. Before that, we were meeting in people's basements.
Oh wow!
Wait, I know, and it's so funny, but I just can't find when the inception of the Excellence in Business Awards was. They just have always been around, so I think it's cool. It's kind of your model, but so I'm a little honored. But ours, the way they work is anybody can nominate a chamber member for lifetime achievement and citizen of the year. It can be anybody in the community.
Mhm.
But those people that are nominated, they have to write a response. And it's off of that response that they are graded according to the rubric. And we have a whole panel that decides who is a winner, But I think people don't always realize that it's your response that matters. We don't necessarily know everything there is to say about you. So it's what you say about yourself that it really counts. So I'm curious, do you guys have an essay process? Is it more of some people have a popularity type, vote for multiple people?
We have a panel among our board members, excuse me, who make the selections. We don't ask the respondent or the nominee for their response. In fact, I'm not even sure that they're notified until later that they've been nominated.
That's cool.
But we may ask the nominating person for clarification or
Gotcha.
additional background information.
Yeah, we have the nominator describe why they're nominating them, and describe what they've done, and so a lot of the selection process involved is based on that, how good the nomination is. So
Yeah.
It hadn't occurred to us to get a response from the person, but that's interesting.
I think because everything's different, but I think it works really well for what you guys are doing. To be surprised with a community service award. That's very meaningful. It's very meaningful.
Right. It is a complete surprise to people because often, if not always maybe the nominator hasn't told the person
Yeah.
because they don't want to feel bad if they don't get selected. I
Yeah.
guess. So,
Right.
but
and the award is actually a lovely plaque that was originally designed by the folks at Goose Creek, Patrick and Mitchell. So it's not just a certificate or something like that. It's something that you'd be proud to
Yeah.
have on your wall.
It's really amazing. Yeah. Gosh, we have our second train of the day. I know you guys on the podcast can't hear it because Woody does a fantastic job editing, but we hardly ever get to. You know, just to brag on Patrick and Mitchell a little bit, I have a friend that lives off of 43. He's from Washington State. He lived in Texas. Now he lives in Bedford. Don't ask me how he got here. I have no idea.
that's exactly what I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's so weird. Why are you guys here? Well, yeah, so he lives off of 43 now, and I only know him because he works with my partner. And he has no internet in his house, nothing. He didn't even know what I was talking about when I said the word Centertown. And yeah, I know. But the only business he ever goes to with regularity is Goose Creek.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he loves to get all his stuff framed there.
Well, they do a fabulous job.
They do.
Yeah.
I'll have to get.
And I will mention that Patrick and Mitchell were among the initial instigators of Bedford Get Together.
Oh, really?
That they were. That's where we held our meetings for the first couple of years while we were doing all the planning. Was in their shop.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if people want to get involved with you guys as a volunteer, what have you, what is the best way to do so?
Oh, we would love to have volunteers. I guess if you don't know any of us individually, I mean, obviously you can come to any of us, but the website would be the way to go. We have a contact form on there that you can fill out and just say, hey, I want to help. And that's, as Bill said earlier, bedfordgettogether.com. And just
and on Facebook.
Email.
We're also on Facebook,
Nice.
of course.
Of course, he says.
We may be on Instagram, but I don't know.
We're on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, really?
I can only tell you that I know nothing about social media, but I have designed some of the posts. And I let somebody else post them. It's interesting.
But yeah, we're more than happy to, we're happy to answer questions if folks want to get in touch and just say, I don't understand what you all are all about. If they haven't figured it out from this podcast, we're glad to clarify further.
Awesome.
And we'd love to have people that want to go out and get people to tell their stories.
Yeah.
So we need, I guess you call them facilitators or whatever, the people that the stories are told to. And we just have little pocket recorders and just record them. You know, it's very low key. It's not scary like being in front of a great big microphone.
You wouldn't even know it was there from the conversation we've been having.
That's because Foster's so good.
Oh, thank you guys. I do it every week. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I will say, besides, if folks want to get in touch with us too to suggest things that they think might be within our wheelhouse, we're glad to listen to ideas for things that we might do, especially if they would like to be involved with us in making it happen. Well, I'll touch on one that we worked on for a while and just finally had to say, we just can't do it by ourselves. And that's to create a dog park in the community.
I've heard so many people say they want that.
We gathered petitions. We gathered hundreds and hundreds of names of folks, and many of them said they'd be willing to work on it. But it finally came down to finding a location. We had enough folks, I think, that would have been willing to work on it and help with some money raising or some maintenance and all of those things. But it kind of came down to the political entities, county, town, whatever, and finding an appropriate location. But there definitely is a desire and a need for it. So we've kind of turned this over to the county's Parks and Rec folks to say, we've done what we can, but we feel like, it's time for somebody else to step up and maybe take it from here.
I think that would be a wonderful project.
Again, and we wanted to do it because one of our members particularly feels very strongly about a dog park as a way to bring people together who might not otherwise know each other, who get together because they love their pets and their pets get along, and you meet folks from just all corners of the community.
Yeah.
that way.
And we would love to step back in and continue to work on it. We just need, a site. We need the county or whoever to
Be a partner in it.
to be a partner and to lead, to find the place and say, okay, you can do this, and you need this much money, and we'll go, okay.
Well,
We'll see what
Back
we
into
can do.
fundraising again.
I'll put a small bug in your ear. I had the Rotary Club of Bedford on the podcast last week, and they are big on parks. They're the originator behind Greenwood Park.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, if you want to get involved with something or put that in their ear, Tracy might be interested.
There you go.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hadn't got to listen to that episode yet, so.
And one last place we also are going to be involved, and we also feel strongly about, is the Bedford Farmers Market.
Yes. Love the Bedford Farmers
And we're
Market.
going to be working with
Erica.
those folks, Erica and others, on kids programming this summer.
Awesome.
So we strongly support there, and once again, because it's a great place for people to come together.
It is.
Of all persuasions.
And the Bedford Farmers Market is like one of the small hometown farmers markets. And Erica and Steve have done an amazing job of making it like family friendly. And every time I go there, because it's like 5 minutes from my house, like there's music playing, there's like all these like baked goods in addition to produce, lots of produce, and very affordable. And there's always something different. So I really enjoy going, and I think anything that we can do to add to the value of the Bedford Farmers Market is awesome.
And this weekend is the April market.
Yes, it is.
And then after that, we've got get into regular weekly markets.
Yes, and on May 4th is the last day of National Small Business Week, and that's the very first regular season market. It's perfect timing.
Well, Bedford Get Together is going to be at the market a couple times a month.
Nice.
Helping with this kids program, and we're going to take the opportunity to be set up to take stories as well. So if people just want to come by and just drop by and say, hey, I got a story for you, I'll be there listening and we'll get it. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. This has been awesome.
It has been.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you, Foster.
Of course. And I'll see you next week at the Ribbon Cutting Palooza.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
Yes, you will.
All right. Well, if any of you listeners want to learn more about the Chamber, you can call us at 540-586-9401, or you can visit our website for information about our mission and the perks of becoming a member. Also on our website is a full business directory of our membership, which is helpful for finding all sorts of great things in the region, including Bedford Get Together. But that's all for today. Thanks so much for listening, and keep an ear out for the next Chamber Vibes podcast.